Choose life and live. Buy original. Be original. SON.
Commendations are still pouring in as the Standards Organization of Nigeria restate commitment to protecting consumers from fake and substandard products. Our focus this week is on the car radiator. What do you know about your car radiator? I know that a lot of car owners do not know the function of this important component of a car. Stay tuned because we've got a lot to tell you about the radiator after this message. My name is Ifoma Okonkwo.
My name is Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one I dey buy. Now one can cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON) don ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. If you see product wey no dey correct, call the SON office wey near you.
SON dey say.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Barely 1 week after cable manufacturers stormed the Lekki office of the Standards Organization of Nigeria to thank the Director General for supporting their businesses, members of Electrical Dealers Association of Nigeria were at the SON to pledge their support to the agency. Here are details of that meeting held in Lagos. This visit by the Electrical Dealers Association of Nigeria is the first by the new executives of the association. The visit was to appreciate the DG of SON, whose exemplary leadership style has impacted positively on their businesses. The chairman said members have watched with keen interest how the SON under Osita Aboloma has initiated measures to clean the markets, especially live danger products like electric cables.
Our own determination to standard which we believe in, we appeal to you, sir, to visit our market, Electrical Dealers Association of Nigeria, Edan. It will help us to boost the standard in which we believe in. It will help for our people in the market to understand more, because time to time visitation to the market will make them to understand what standard is all about, because they are hearing from the standard organization.
The association pledged their support to the SON, adding that they will take the war against fake and substandard products to their markets and always encourage members to embrace quality. According to the chairman, the fight against substandard goods can only be won when every stakeholder contributes its quota to stamp out fakers. For the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria, such commendation from the association is a call for more work. He said the SON remains committed and will continue to ensure that Nigerians get only the best.
Alaba market in Nigeria has become a brand where virtually 70% of electrical materials coming to Nigeria pass through there, whether fake or genuine products. So we want to collaborate with them to be our worthy ambassadors, to discourage the sales of substandard goods through the market, and to inform some of unwholesome attitudes of scrupulous importers in our bid to rid the market completely of substandard goods. And the take home there is that most of them have agreed to do the right thing. They've agreed not to sell what they cannot use, not to sell things that are not registered with SON, so that we'll be able to have traceabilities and confidence, so that customers will, most importantly, have value for their money.
The SON boss thanked the association for its support and urged them to be God-fearing and patriotic. As dealers on electric cables and electrical parts, he urged them to be honest in their dealings with consumers and ensure sale of quality products. This is because they deal on life danger products.
We focused on cable and electrical materials because we've classified them as life-endangering items. The truth is, anyone that escapes and goes through Alaba markets, we want to partner with them to stop them at that point. So if they don't sell substandard materials, people will be discouraged from importing substandard materials. So it's going to be a very good working relationship.
Osita Aboluma also advised the association to be vigilant and expose unscrupulous members who import fake and substandard electrical cables into Nigeria. SON, he warned, more than ever has been repositioned to deal with such importers, and such goods do not find their ways into Nigerian markets.
The only thing I remember as we did drive, na gwa. The next time I opened my eyes, I see myself for hospital. People would say, na expired tire put me for this condition.
Hey, yeah. Tire na chemical o. Abeg, make you dey check your tire DOT number to sabi when e go expire. Passenger wey love him life must sabi the tire DOT number o. New tire sef na only 4 years e get to expire, whether you use am or not. To sabi the date when e go expire, just add 4 years to the last digit of the DOT. Expire tire or tokunbo tire fit cause road accident. Beware.
Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, improving life through standards.
Stop patronizing sellers of used tires and reduce bloodshed on our roads. Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria tells Nigerians. He was speaking at a sensitization workshop in Lagos.
The objective of this stakeholders meeting in the nation's automobile industry is to promote the use of quality products, especially tire, which is considered to be one of the life danger products of a car. Representative of the Director General of the Standards Organization of Nigeria at the forum said the benefits of ensuring quality cannot be overemphasized and urged Nigerians to insist on the best. He said the SON will continue to come up with measures to discourage the use of used tires, which he noted accounted for more road accidents in the country.
We have discovered over the years that educating stakeholders on issues that pertain to their aspects in the economy would go a long way, in having a buy-in. And to that effect, for some weeks, our team have been discussing with the leadership of this market. You can see the huge turnout. They're all excited to be part of it. Much as we have people participate on technical committee meetings, when it comes to implementation of the standard, when it enters commerce, you need to let the market know why preference should be made for complying products. So to that effect, we are having technical sessions to educate them on the peculiarities of the product they are dealing with, because the key issue is about safety for road users. As we ply our roads with tires, we need to have proper knowledge of what this tire can be when not properly used. So this is a starting point because they are the main entry points of tires into our markets.
While commending the SON for its role at protecting consumers, President of the Association of Tire Marketers, Issa Akombi, lauded efforts of the agency at educating consumers on the dangers of patronizing substandard and fake products.
The issue about tires and accidents is a very, very wide something to be discussed. But the main thing is that if you use good tires and you know where you source your tire, it should be safer and you have more comfort and confidence to ride on the road. But the issue is that the things that contribute to accidents now are about three. One is the roads are bad, very bad. And two, some drivers are really very they are not careful on the wheel. They are not careful on their steering. They drive anyhow. And the third thing, we cannot take it off, is that some people still use used tires as we are talking. They use used tires and Tokumo tires, which are very, very dangerous to use. So if you are able to use new tires, good tires, and the roads are good, and you are careful with your driving, I think we minimize accidents.
The end result is the safety of Nigerians, the life of Nigerians. We don't want to lose anymore. We have lost a lot. Many people have died as a result of ignorance. Most of them are caused by, I will not exempt, yes, some of them, they are correct when they say tires. Some are also ignorant of the way you use your tire.
The marketers were also reminded on the need to register their products with the SON or risk sanction by the agency.
Welcome back. You're watching Standard and You. About 3 weeks ago, we brought you a story on the dangers of used tires. Our focus is to educate you on products, telling you what you need to know about these goods. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the report on the car radiator. Please take a look.
The radiator is an important part of a vehicle's cooling system. It passes hot coolant through metal fans that conducts heat away from liquid into the air. The function of the radiator, which is located behind the grille of a car, is to keep your car from overheating. It contains liquid made up of water and coolant.
For every engine, every combustion engine, you will see the radiator in front of the engine. What are they doing there? It is now taking the heat from the engine to the atmosphere and then cooling it, giving it a cooling effect, because in the radiator you will have coolant inside the radiator. The coolant could be, in most cases, water. Also diluted, or you add some radiator coolants to ensure that the radiator works very well. So you can see this is the inlet from where you pour the water or you pour the radiator coolant into the radiator. This now transfers the water to the engine. From the engine, the heat again that passes through, because it is a cyclic motion. As the water is running through the engine, the heat from the engine is also passing through back to the radiator, and then through this the fins. You can see the fins in the radiator. Those fins are made so that the hot air from the radiator can now be transferred out, and that brings the cooling effect, so that the water that circulates again goes at a reduced temperature to cool the engine.
Regular check on the radiator is key and necessary. One must always make sure that the radiator has the appropriate level of coolant. This is to guard against escape of coolant, leading to overheating and eventual damage of the radiator. Ensuring the right amount of coolant is also another way of maintaining the radiator. Flushing the system regularly also ensures that coolant flows freely.
This is the temperature control device, where you have temperature sign there. You have the high, you have the low. So that tells you exactly as the engine is working, you monitor it. If it goes so high, then there's a problem with the cooling system. And then you begin to check. First, the radiator, what has happened? Is it dirty? Is it having some issues? Then that is a concern for the person who is driving the vehicle to now stop and check. If not, the car can run into trouble, because if it works at a very high temperature without being controlled, a lot of other accessories of the car can get damaged.
Coolant is, for Nigeria here, it's for our weather. It's from London or America. It's no need of put coolant. But because of our Nigeria weather, that is the reason why they have put coolant. Just to make engine cool. Just to make engine not make overheating. That is the work of coolant.
Investigations by Standard and You show that this part of a vehicle is imported into Nigeria as either brand new or used. What is the standard for the product?
Radiators are produced according to specifications. And so, for every radiator that is imported into this country, we expect that the importer must advise our overseas accredited firms that issue the sun cap for these imported products to comply with the requirements of our sun cap scheme. With that, the right standard will be used to assess the radiator before it comes in, so that when it comes in, that radiator will be passed in line with our ease of doing business. You won't have any problem. But when you bring in a radiator that has no brand, nobody knows anything about the radiator, and there's no quality certificate attesting to the quality, the performance of that radiator, at the point it gets into this country, we will say, no, you cannot use these radiators to damage people's cars, because somebody who has saved money to buy a radiator expects service. And so if he goes to the market to buy an unbranded radiator, a radiator that has no quality status, and then puts it into his vehicle or her vehicle, before you know it, that car will start having some issues of overheating.
Experts say this part of a vehicle can last for as much as 8 to 10 years, depending on the level of maintenance.
The quality of the coolant material you are putting into your radiator must be known. You just take ordinary water, it is not just ordinary. That water may contain a lot of impurities, and those impurities can react with the radiator, and that is why sometimes you see additional coolant, what we call radiator coolants, added to the radiator, so that the radiator life is extended. It protects the radiator from such effects of corrosion, erosion, or cavitation. And that is why, for you to maintain your radiators, you must also, from time to time, check that the fins are not blocked. With that, the heat that is supposed to be radiated outside will now be retained. And what will be the cumulative effect is that the engine operates at a very high temperature, leading to overheating.
Our next report will interest you. Have you been shortchanged lately or denied value for your money over a product you purchased? If you are one of such consumers, you are advised to visit any of the SON offices around you. This is because the SON boss has declared zero tolerance to consumers' attitude of resigning to fate when denied value for their money.
The SON boss spoke against the backdrop of the agency's renewed strategy to protect consumers from fake and substandard products. He stated clearly that the Standards Organization of Nigeria has initiated strategies aimed at meeting the quality needs of the consumer, rather than resign to their fate whenever they purchase products that do not conform with the requirements of the standard. He advised consumers to report such transaction to the SON.
It's still our watchword that standardization has no compromise. Quality assurance is the bedrock of progress in any society. So I employ the Nigerian populace that whenever you discover that any product is substandard, you report to us and we'll take necessary corrective action and try to see if possibilities of you getting redress through ratifying the defect. Defect can come in so many ways. It can come by outright shortfall in what you expect in terms of quality. It can come by way of misrepresentation of what you actually intend to sell. So either way, we first of all see if we can ratify the defect or non-conformity and go further to prevent repetition of such non-conformity. It might lead to destruction or correction of the production process or correction, for instance, labeling, so that people will always get value for their money.
The DG said SON will continue to provide manufacturers with standards relevant to the production of goods.
For you to bring in these things, you must key into our SONCAP, Son Conformity and Assessment Program, so that we'll make sure that it conforms to our standard and international best practice. We'll also have to cross-check if you're actually bringing in what you claimed that you're bringing in. If it's okay, all well and good. But if it's not okay, we'll take corrective actions. And if need be, we'll destroy such items in order to prevent them from entering the market and go further to prosecute the defaulters.
He said importers of goods have a moral duty to ensure that they comply with the provisions of the Standards Organization of Nigeria Conformity Assessment Program and ensure that only goods of acceptable standards are imported into the country.
You report to us, we'll respond accordingly. If you see anything unwholesome, say something. When they have incidents of people dealing on substandard cables, they come to us. We trace the items from the shelf to the point of entry. We test them. Sometimes we'll call them to identify their products. If it's different from what is registered with us, we'll look into it, then we'll take corrective actions.
The program is Standard and You, powered by the Standards Organization of Nigeria. It comes to you every Monday at 6:30 p.m. It's time to treat your messages, and Alimot Osifo is standing by.
Hello, it's good to have you on the feedback segment of the program. Last week, we received a lot of phone calls, text messages, even on our social media handles. Thank you so much. Our first message here is from Jaja Dele from Oshobo. It says, I love your program. Thank you, Dele. We appreciate. Martins from Imo says, I appreciate your efforts, but please come and examine the electrical cables sold in Owerri Market. Okay, Martins, our son officials in Imo State are working on that. Desmond from Benin says, I bought a generator set with the brand Power Value. Then I noticed it's fuel consuming, which is not fair. Desmond, you can direct your complaint to our office at Block D1, 2nd floor, Federal Secretariat, Benin City. Wisdom from Abuja says, happy to have you here. Your program last week was very impressive. Long live SON. Thank you, Wisdom. We appreciate. Onyebuchi Obasinta says, son, I appreciate your good intention to fight the war against fake products. Thank you, Onyebuchi. Michael Jimo from Kogi says, please, where can I locate son's office in Kogi State? Michael, our office in Kogi State is at Rufus Kupolati Street off Lugard Road, after police headquarters opposite Crowther Memorial College, Lokoja. That's the much we can take on the feedback segment this week. We appreciate the information you have provided, and we will take further action on your complaints. You can always call us or send us a message to the number 0705-972-4455. You can also reach us on any of our social media handles, on Facebook at Standard and You, on Instagram and Twitter at Standard and You _. You can send a mail to the address thestandardandyou@gmail.com. Let's do this again, same time, same station, next week. Bye for now.